Hello there, everyone. My name is Crazy Caleb, and today we're going to be taking a look at Coral Cipher. So continuing our way on with the color cipher variants, this module is going to be focusing again on three different ciphers. We're going to be taking a look at the Prissy cipher, the AMSCO transposition, another fairly easy one in my opinion, and the grow mark cipher. Now, the first step, the one that you want to worry about here is you actually want to worry about the first step, actually, Prissy cipher. The Prissy cipher is one of the more easier ones that is more error prone, from my personal experience, anyways. And I've managed to screw this up several times, so don't you worry. This is not the easiest one, but I've hopefully gotten consistent enough with it that we can actually teach this in a tutorial. So there's going to be two screens like you normally would. There is a couple cases where there actually is not where it's not two screens. There's actually three or four. For example, 3 is crimson and 4, I believe, is on cream. And there's also the case of off-white, where it simply is just not a screen. It just transforms into quite a lovely submission, I will say, where you create NFTs. But anyways, let's get right into this thing. So we have our encrypted word, of course, in the top display. We have a word that we're going to be using in the first step, which we'll get into in just a second. We have our couple of numbers here, which could range from 1 to 4 different numbers, which you can get. I think it's generally 3 to 4 or 2 to 4, for example, which you can get. But the 4 is the max that you can get. So there's going to be that for the second step. And then our last word that we have here, jiggling, which is going to be used for the third step, the grow mark cipher. So let's get right into this. So obviously we have our word that we need to write down. We need to write down our encrypted word here, Sierra, November, Quebec, Victor, November, Mike. We have that. So let's zoom in a little bit. And now we have our accused. Let's take a look at what we need to do with this. Obviously, we just took the keyword from the middle screen on page 1, and we need to remove any duplicates while keeping its first occurrence. So let's get rid of this Charlie's here. That looks good. And now what we need to do is, you guessed it, take an entire alphabet, and we're going to be using this in some way, shape, or form. So let's pop down an alphabet, and let's remove all letters shown in the keyword. So we have A, C, E, D, S, and U. And now we need to figure out where exactly we're going to be putting this guy at. So if the number of ports is odd, which in this case, let's take a look. No, we don't have any ports, so it's going to count as 0, which is even. So what's going to be happening is, instead of putting the alphabet at the end of the keyword, we're going to put it at the front of the keyword. So let's put the alphabet at the front of the keyword, in this case being right here, simply putting the keyword in the back. And now what we're going to do is we're then going to split the key in half, placing the second half under the first half, just like that. So let's take a look and see exactly what we need to do with this. So this part is going to be a little bit annoying, but bear with me. So starting with an offset of the 4th character of the serial number, which in this case represents a Quebec. In this case, A1 is Z26. This is very important that you'll be able to differentiate this because of the fact that there is going to be another step which we have to make sure that we pay attention to. This is in base 36 for this step. So let's keep that in mind. So now, the 4th character is going to be a Quebec, which is a 17. We're going to write this down as a number. And now, what we're going to do is we're going to modulo this by 13, actually. So instead of 17, we're going to modulo this by 13, which is going to be a 4. So 4 is going to be our offset for this. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do the following for each letter of our encrypted word here. So we have Sierra, November, Quebec, Victor, November, Mike. What's going to happen is that we're going to find the nth letter of the encrypted word in the key, which in this case we're going to start with number 1. We always start with number 1, then we go through 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we're going to go left a number of times equal to the offset, wrapping around to the right side of the same row. So we're going to start from Sierra, and we're going to essentially focus on the second row in this case, because that's where Sierra is currently at. And then what's going to happen is that we're going to go left an amount of times by the offset, and now the letter above or below where you ended up becomes your new encrypted letter. So in this case, let's take a look at this. So we have Sierra. Let's go left 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's Zulu. However, we go up to Kilo in this case, because that's what it wants us to do. It wants us to go to the opposite end, essentially. So now, what essentially we're going to do is we're going to take the sum of the offset and the resulting letter, and we're going to modulate this by 13, and this is going to become your new offset. So let's take a look here. So we have Kilo. Kilo, we have the 4 from the offset here. We're going to add 11 to this, because Kilo is worth 11. We're going to modulo this by 13, and 2 is now going to be our new offset here. Okay, so now November is going to be on the top row, which we're going to go left twice, 1 and 2. Lima goes down to Alpha, and that's going to be our new position here. So let's get rid of you. And now Alpha is simply worth 1, so we're going to add 1 to this, and our new offset is going to be 3. We don't need to modulo 13 for that at all. Next up, Quebec. Quebec is going to go left 3, 1, 2, 3, down to uniform, because we reached the November. We're going to go to the opposite end, which is a uniform, and that's going to be our new encrypted letter. We're going to add 21 to this 3 here, because that's the alphanumeric position of which uniform is at. Then we're going to modulo this by 13, which is going to be an 11. Now, let's go left 11, or in this case, because of the fact that there is currently only 13 letters per row, all we simply need to do is we need to go right twice. We can simply make our lives a little bit easier, because counting can be pretty easy to mess up, as we've seen in many occurrences with this game. So Victor, right twice, is going to take me to an X-ray, but it's going to be in India. So India, so now we're going to add 9 to this 11, adding 9. Modulating this by 13 is going to be a 7. 7 from November, we're going to go left 7, or let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to Gulf, down to Victor. Okay, so now we're going to add the 22. Modulo this by 13 is going to be a 3. From Mike, we're going to go 1, 2, 3 to Juliet, down to Yankee. Yankee, please. And just like that, we are done with this part of the cipher. So it's very important that you make sure that you add each of the alphabetic position of the previous letter that you just received to the offset moduloed by 13, and that's going to be your new offset for the next letter. It's very easy to mess up, and it's very easy to forget this step, so just keep that in mind. So now we're going to go to the easiest part of the cipher. So what's going to happen is that we essentially need to reorder this in some way, shape, or form. So in this case, we're going to take the numbers 3, 2, and 1. Let's place these guys out here, 3, 2, 1. And essentially what's going to happen is that we're going to get a series of different lengths of which we're going to input these, which we're going to place these numbers in, essentially, or place our characters rather in. So now, if the first character of the serial number, in this case, represents whiskey. Now remember, this is A equals 10, and in this case, A equals 10 and Z equals 35. This is in base 36. So what we want to do is we essentially want to take the alphabetic position of a letter here, of our first character of the serial number. If it's not a number, keep that in mind. And we're simply going to add 9 to this. So we have, in this case, 23 plus the 9 is going to be a 32. So in this case, it is not odd. It's asking for it to be odd. In this case, it is not odd. 32 is definitely not odd. We're instead going to have the string lengths of 2, 1, 2, 1. Now, how exactly do we place this in here? So what we're going to do is we're going to fill each cell with dashes equal to their string lengths, and place each letter of the encrypted word you got from step 1 in ascending numerical order, replacing each dash in the cells underneath the number. So let's do this. So essentially we're going to place these string lengths in reading order. So we're going to do 2 for under the 3, we're going to do 1 under the 2, we're going to do 2 under the 1, and we're going to do a 1 under the 3 again because of the fact that we only have 3 numbers present here. So we're essentially just going to go wrap down back to the bottom in reading order. So now what we do is we essentially take the first numeral here. In this case, we have kilo and alpha. This is going to be the first 2 characters that go into here respectively. The next step, uniform, requires 1 cell to be filled, which is going to be uniform. Then we have, finally, 3 requires 3 cells to be filled. So we have the I, the V, and then the Y. So now let's fill all you up. And now, essentially, we're going to combine this all together. And the stuff that we get in reading order is essentially going to be our new way of ordering. That's all we need to do. And just like that, bada bing, bada boom, we're done with that step. It's quite a pleasant one, I will say. So, now we are on the Gromar cipher. This one is the bit of the longer one. However, it is not as bad as you think it is. So let's take a look. So we're going to need our obviously our encrypted word from step 2, and the key from the top screen here, jiggling. So now we're going to write down jiggling, and there's going to be 2 different things we're going to do with this. The first part is going to be writing the numbers. We're going to write numbers under the keyword in such a way that the ascending numbers are going in alphabetical order. So if there happens to be a tie between letters, then ascend in reading order. So let's take care of this. So first off, the first letter that comes alphabetically is actually golf. So in this case, what we're essentially going to do is we have 3 of them in this actual display here. So we're going to do a 1, a 2, and then we're going to go over to this other golf, and then we're going to mark it with a 3. Then next up, India appears next. We have 2 of those, so we're going to mark 4 and then a 5. Then next up, Juliet. That's going to be a 6. Then Lima, and 7, and then November is going to be an 8. Okay, so now we've gotten our first part taken care of, and now what we need to do is we need to do another alphabet case again. So let's copy our alphabet here. So let's copy our keyword as well. We don't really need to worry about the keyword as much anymore since we have our number key, which we'll get into in just a second. So let's copy the jiggling here. And now let's get rid of all of the occurrences that appear twice. So we have the G's, we have the I, so we get rid of you, or no, hold on, we get rid of the first occurrence rather. Hold on. So we get rid of the rather the occurrences that happen afterwards. Yes, I'm right. While keeping the first occurrence. I don't know why I second guessed myself there. So let's ignore that. So now, what we need to do is if the number of ports modulo 4 is greater than or equal to 2, which in this case we said that was a 0, we didn't have any ports, we're going to be placing the alphabet in front of the keyword. So let's remove these letters here. So G, I, J, I, L, and N. And then this is going to go to the end. And just like that, 26 words, bada bing, bada boom. So now, what's going to happen is we're essentially going to be placing this alphabet underneath each of these individual numbers. And we're going to fit them in a series of columns such that they fit in reading order. So let's take a look. So we need to essentially break this guy because this is max amount of characters, break this, and break this. And this is all we simply need to do. So now what we're going to do is we're essentially going to rearrange this alphabet based off of these numbers here, and we're going to go column by column, writing out ourselves a new alphabet. So we have Charlie Papa X-ray, then we have Delta Quebec Yankee for number 2, 3 is going to be KUG, then we have Bound, then we have Foxtrot Sierra Juliet, then we have Alpha Mike Victor Lima, and then we have Echo Romeo Zulu, and then we have Hotel Tango India. Okay, and now for our final bit, we're going to also write a second alphabet underneath the alphabet key. So we're not going to be splitting this in half like we did with the first step. We're simply just going to be writing an alphabet key below it here. So let's copy U below, and just like that, that is the first part taken care of. So now, what we need to do is we need to also create a new number key for this last little bit here, to which we're going to be shifting these guys left by some values here. So we're going to take the first 3 digits of the number key, so in this case, a 6, 4, and 1, which in this case was the first 4 here. So 6, 4, 1. And now we're going to add 3 more numbers to the end of this by summing the first 2 numbers, modulo 10, and the second 2 numbers, modulo 10, etc. So now, what we're going to do is we're going to do 6 and 4. 6 and 4 is going to be a 10, which is going to be a 0. That's going to give us the first result. Then we're going to have 4 plus 1 is going to give us a 5. 5 is going to be the next result. And then we're going to do 1 plus 0, which is going to be a 1. And that's going to be our last result that we need here. And essentially what we're going to do is for each letter of the encrypted word, we're going to do the following. We're going to find the nth letter. In this case, we're going to start with India. We're going to go left a number of times equal to the nth digit of the number key, which in this case is going to be focusing on this alphabet here. And then what's going to happen is the letter below will become your derivative letter. It will always be below in this case. So let's take a look. So we have India. We need to move this to the left 6 times. So let's find India. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is going to take me down to Tango. Tango is going to be our first letter. Victor, moving left 4 times. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 to Oscar. Because we landed on Sierra, we're going to go down to Oscar. Then uniform is going to be let's see where we are. Uniform is going to be right here. We're going to move left once to Kilo, which is going to take me down to Golf. Then at Kilo, we don't need to move at all, so we're simply going to go down to the Golf here. Perfect. Then Alpha, left 5 times, is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to Whiskey, down to Lima. Okay. And I have a hunch that this one's going to be an Echo, so let's see what it is. So Yankee, left once, moving it left to Quebec, down to an Echo. And just like that, we have our word toggle, which we are going to submit into the module. And just like that is a solved module. Excuse me. Let's go over one more example, and I'm going to go through this a little bit faster. Hopefully now you guys understand what's going to be happening here, and hopefully I don't mess up myself, because I have done this many times where I've messed up because I've gone either A, too fast, or B, I'm just an idiot. Likely both. Okay. Let's wait for this next example, but it's a really straightforward cipher. It's really not asking that much for you. It's just this first step is very error prone if you happen to do one of them wrong, or if you happen to be an idiot like me and maybe, I don't know, forget to switch sides, because that has happened to me once on more than one occasion. But yeah, it's pretty straightforward. It doesn't really ask that much for you. Okay, let's do this again. So we have, in this case, Romeo Alpha X, Echo Whiskey Zulu Romeo. I'm gonna get some water real quick. I'm gonna pause this recording. All right, apologies for that. Let's get right back into this. So, I have our encrypted word here. So now let's take a look at the alphabet. So let's get this guy copied and pasted here. So now we need to remove the occurrences of heels present in this in the alphabet here. So Hotel, Echo, Lima, and Sierra should do it. And now, do we need to put the word here? In this case, it's going to be hells because we get rid of that first e, or excuse me, that second e rather. Do we put this at the end or the beginning? So is the number of ports odd? First off, yes, it is. It's currently 5 ports, so in this case, that's going to be an odd. So yes. So it's on. We're going to place the alphabet at the end of the keyword, so the keyword is going to go to the front. Okay. So now let's split you in half, just like that. And the first letter, the fourth letter in this case, is an alpha. Perfect. That's going to be a nice starting point. So that's going to be a 1. So 1 is going to be original offset. So let's start at Romeo. Romeo left once is going to be to Quebec, is going to go up to alpha. Okay, that's a rather quite nice one. So plus the 1, so it's going to be 2. Alpha left twice is going to be to Lima, which is an Oscar. Okay, so that's going to be a plus 15 in this case. Modulo this by 13, which is going to be 4. Echo, left 4 times. Remember, we're staying on the same row for this, so Echo is going to go left to Hotel, then left to Kilo, then left to Juliet, then left to India. It should be 1, 2, 3, 4. So India, yep. Then down to X-ray, so X-ray. We're going to add 24 to our offset now, plus the 24. Modulo this by 13 is going to be a 2, rather quite nice. So then 2 left is going to be to uniform, is going to be up to Delta. We're going to add 4 to this, which is going to give us a 6. Zulu left 6 times is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to Tango, up to Charlie, plus the 3. Still not modulating 13 yet. Left 9, which is going to be Romeo here. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, up to Golf. Okay, and that's the first part of this step done. Hopefully I did everything right, and let's see what happens. So now for the easy part of the cipher. So we have 1, 2, and 3. Let's space you guys out, because we're probably going to have some sort of wonky combination here. A little bit more. There we go. So now, let's take a look here. So taking a look at the first character of the serial number, this is why this is important. This is why this is in base 36, because the fourth character is not possible to have any numbers, whereas the first character is. So this is where this 4 comes into play here. This is not odd because of the fact that 4 is just equal to 4. So in this case, this is not odd. So the cell lengths are going to have a lengths of 2, 1, 2, 1. Okay, so let's do that. So 2, 1, 2, and then 1. Same case as we had beforehand, but in this case, it's going to be a different ordering structure. It's essentially going to be the exact opposite of what we had beforehand. So alpha, we need to fill in 3 different spots here. So we have alpha, 1 alpha Oscar X-ray. I misspeak, don't worry. Delta 2 is going to be filled into Delta here. And then the last 2, as you would suspect, need to be filled in for the third spot here. So we have Charlie and Golf. So now let's combine all of you guys together in reading order. And this is what we're going to be looking at now. So this is going to be our new part. And now we're going to take a look at the last part of this module. So let's copy our alphabet twice here, because we need we need to reorder it, and then we also need to use the alphabet as the key later on. So let's take a look at what we need to do here. So our word is soothing. Okay, so soothing. First off, let's create our number key with this one here. We have to create our number key using these guys here. Our first occurrence is going to actually be golf, so it's going to be down here to a 1. Then next up is going to be hotel. Then next up is going to be India. Then next up is going to be November. And then we have our 2 Oscars, which is going to represent 5 and 6 based off of their first occurrences. Sierra comes before the Tango, which is going to be 7. And then Tango is going to be 8. And just like that, we have our key created. Let's remove that Oscar. This is the fact that that's getting rid of the duplicates here. Now let's get rid of everything in Sothing present in the alphabet here. So S-T-O-F. H, I, G, and N. Okay, now which order are we going to be placing this in? If the number of ports modulo 4 is greater than or equal to 2, in this case we said we had 5. So in this case, 5 mod 4 is going to equal 1. So in this case, that is not going to be greater than or equal to 2. The alphabet is going to be put in front of the keyword. The keyword is going to go behind. So now, keyword goes behind right here. Should be at 27. Indeed it is. And when I'm referring to 27, I'm referring to the column count here, because this is simply the 27th column, which means we have had 26 columns before. You can, of course, highlight over everything here, and that tells you how many you've selected, essentially. That's what we do here. So now, let's take a look. So now we want to break this apart into the length of each of these numbers here. So let's do U, and then U, and then U. Okay, and now we're essentially going to reorder all of this. So let's bring you up here. So then we have Kilo Whiskey India for number 1, then Echo Romeo Oscar for number 2, then Foxtrot Uniform Tango, I typed it twice, Foxtrot Uniform Tango for number 3, then Juliet Victor Hotel for number 4, then Bravo Mike Yankee Golf for number 5, then Charlie Papa Zulu for number 6, then Alpha Lima X-Ray November, and then finally Delta Quebec Sierra. And just like that, we have created our alphabet. So now, let's see the first 3 digits of our code here, 756, and let's create 3 more. 7 plus 5 is going to equal 12, which is going to equal 2. And then 5 plus 6 is going to equal 11, which is going to be a 1. And then 6 plus 2 is going to be creating 8, essentially. And that's all we need to do. So now, let's take a look here. So alpha left 7 is going to be equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which is going to take us down to Mike, okay. Then Oscar left 5, which is right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is going to be an alpha. Then next up, Delta left 6 times. Where are you? Right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, down to Romeo, okay. Might be Marble, I have a hunch. Charlie left twice is going to be a 1, 2, nope. It's going to be Oscar. Left twice down here. Then Golf left 1 is going to be to Oscar. It might be Maroon. Perfect. So X-Ray left 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Down from Mike to November. And just like that, we have our word. So let's type in Maroon to the module. Maroon. Different cipher, but, you know, take it or leave it. And just like that is a solved module. As always, thank you guys for watching. Remember to stay crazy, stay cool, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.